So my goal in this video is to show you exactly how to take your cryptocurrency assets and start earning income on them and investing them into liquidity pools. We're going to be doing a deep dive in today's video, so make sure to stay tuned and watch until the end. Now, first thing I want to talk about in today's video, if you guys were to go buy Ethereum on Coinbase, say you were to buy, let's just say $1,000 of Ethereum, you would get 0.29 Ethereum. Whereas let's just say there was a situation where you were able to get, say, USDC for free without having to pay any fees, and you were to go buy $1,000 of Ethereum over on a decentralized exchange, you are now getting 0.300 Ethereum. Now, that doesn't seem like a lot of extra Ethereum on this scale, but in this case, it is $23 more. Say we were to go execute a $10,000 trade over here on Coinbase versus over here using a decentralized exchange. We're getting 2.917 versus 3. So even then, that is $233 more by trading on decentralized exchanges, which is exactly why people trade on decentralized exchanges. They pay super low fees, and we should be a part of that when injecting our capital into DeFi. Therefore, meaning I highly recommend that you use a bank transfer to actually purchase USDC on a platform like Coinbase that sells it to you at a 1-to-1 rate with no spread and no fees. As you can see, if I were to go purchase $10,000 of USDC right now, I would get 10,000 USDC. I would not pay any fees. I would just get 10,000 USDC. Simple as that. I can then go and send this USDC to my wallet, and if I'm sending to the Ethereum network, I will pay $1 to $2 in gas fees regardless of the actual value of the USDC. If I'm sending to any other network, it is basically free for sending to those networks. And then we can take it over to Llama Swap, or we could take it over to Jupiter or Odos or another swap aggregator and pay the absolute lowest fees possible and get the most money out of our trade. That right there is going to save you thousands of dollars depending on what scale you're at. Now we're actually going to dive into how you can find the liquidity pools, take the capital that you just invested into the crypto ecosystem and put that into liquidity pools. So we use Metrics Finance, and ultimately this is a software that I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars building. I truly have not found a better software on the market. I still use DeFi Llama, I still use Crystal and other softwares out there, but ultimately Metrics Finance is my go-to simply because it has everything I need. Now, that being said, we're going to look across a couple different exchanges and networks, and you kind of need to select what exchanges and networks are relative to the asset that you actually have. So if you're primarily targeting the Solana network, you're going to choose Orca and Radium on the Solana network. Whereas if you're primarily targeting stuff on Base, perhaps it's better to do Uniswap and Aerodrome over here on the Base network. Whereas let's just say you don't really mind, you just want to find the best opportunities. I would start by segmenting these 4 on these 5 networks, and then after that, I would go on to Orca and Radium, segment those, and then start to browse their opportunities. And then after that, I would segment Velodrome and Aerodrome and start to browse their opportunities across both their networks. And the reason why we do that is because each group is going to have different types of parameters. They're going to have different data. And if we start to filter based on this group right here, and then all of a sudden we go over to Orca and Radium, we're going to see a lot more opportunities when we shouldn't be seeing a lot more opportunities. We need to have fair filters to those networks and those exchanges, basically. With that being said, the next thing that we will do is set our calculation range to 7 days. Now, the reason why I'm using 7 days is because recently there's been an uptick in volume, and we want to make sure we're looking at the last 7 days of volume, which is most likely more consistent than what we've seen over the past 30 days. If I were to take a look at some of these pools, odds are we saw a huge rise in volume, we saw a huge fall in volume, and ultimately we're just not looking at consistent data. So by using that 7 days, it's going to be more consistent data. The next thing that I'm going to do is start to filter some things out. Now, I don't want to look at pools that have too high of TVL, so I'm going to look at lower than, say, 30 million. But I'm also going to look at pools that are higher than $1 million. And the reason why is because I also don't want to look at too low of TVL pools. We still have 614 different pools right here. It's a lot of damn pools. So we're going to start to filter by APR. I like to do higher than 30%, lower than 550%. 550% tends to be the sweet spot for factoring out the results that are just like crazy high APRs that ultimately aren't going to be sustainable or are meme coins or something along those lines, basically trending assets that aren't going to be trending within a couple days. And the next thing I'll do is I'll go over here to pools. Now, in this instance, I'm looking basically across Ethereum networks, and each of these networks uses Ethereum as their gas token except Polygon that uses Matic, but even then there's still a lot of Ethereum pools over on Polygon. So I'm going to put must include Ethereum. And the reason why is because I want to look for pools that are paired with Ethereum. Now, we still have 280 results, and we can cut that thing in half instantly. I go over to the daily fees to TVL right over here. I look at the highest, and then I go over here to the page that is half of the total amount of pages. So there's 14 pages. So I'm going to go over to page 7, and I'm just going to cut this list in half by looking in the middle ground. So I'm going to do 0.035, higher than 0.035. What that does is that says, hey, we have a fee to TVL ratio of 0.0437. So we take the average daily fees, which is $512, and then we divide that by the current TVL in the pool, which is $1.17 million. That's going going to give us that 0.047 or so roughly. Now that being said, this is highly reliant on the volume and the TVL on the pools, so I can't give you a set number because that number is just going to change on a daily basis at this point basically, which is why we sort by the highest, and then we go in here and we cut that list in half because we want to look at the better half of that list, and we don't want to do a number like say 0.03 and then all of a sudden we have a ton of opportunities still, and we also don't want to do a number like 0.07 and then we barely have any opportunities. So my rule of thumb has just been to cut this thing in half by sorting by highest and then filtering above whatever that middle ground number is. And then now we still have 135 different pools. If we want to, we can do price volatility lower than 15%, and that's still going to yield roughly 120 pools right here. So now we can start to browse through these and see what opportunities we actually want to explore and potentially deploy our capital into. Now again, we don't want to invest into different liquidity pools that just have a high yield. We want to invest into liquidity pools that actually have solid assets, that we wouldn't mind holding those assets in our wallet, and ultimately the goal is to just earn income while holding in those assets. So that way we have market exposure. If the price goes up, we make money. The price goes down, we lose money. But during that whole time, we are producing income that we can use as a profit taking strategy, or we can use that income as a compounding strategy and create our own DeFi flywheel. Now that being said, some of these things that just spark my eye are Rio. Obviously I've heard of Rio before. If you haven't heard of Rio, or if you haven't heard of these assets that you're seeing on the Discover page, you want to search them over on CoinGecko. When you search them on CoinGecko, there will be a website section. Before we even go to the website, we see, okay, is this in the shitter, right? Are we doing good? Or are we doing bad? I look at 1 year. I say Rio saw a spike back in March 2024. It's completely fine. It's seen a decline since then, but at the same time, it's seen decent price action over the past 3 months. It's seen a nice rise. Currently, it's a $42 million market cap, so it is a lower market cap asset. I also look at what's the circulating supply versus the total supply. General rule of thumb is you want anything above like 20% if it's an asset that has been around for a little bit of time. If it's a brand new asset, you do take more risk, but again, you can make more money on brand new assets. So as long as you're being compensated for the additional risk that you take. Now, after I determine, okay, this trend doesn't look bad, it's not in the shitter, right? Let's pull up the website. Let's see what it's about. So it's an ecosystem for real world assets, and basically bringing real world assets on chain onto the blockchain, right? And the way they do that is through their investment platform, their DeFi wallet right over here, these districts that they have for an immersive experience connecting physical and virtual realities, and this tokenized fund specializing in low cost Bitcoin production and actually mining Bitcoin. So pretty interesting stuff. We could do a deep dive into this, see exactly if we want to invest into this, see what it's all about and whatnot by looking at the different products. But if we determine that this is a good fit, and if you guys want me to make a full video on how to determine if assets are a good fit, let me know down below in the comments, and also drop a like, subscribe, and notifications turned on, because I can make a video on something that I like to call our VRM framework, which is value, risk, and market. What's the value? Where does it come from? What's the risk of this asset that we take by investing into it? And how is it positioned in the market? That's one of the things that we have over at our DeFi Legacy program. But just let me know. I'm happy to break it down on YouTube in the comments. So I'm going to favorite that for now. I'm also going to dive in here. There's WorldCoin. WorldCoin's not that bad of an asset. I know at one point I invested into it and it wasn't doing too hot. So let's open it up over here on CoinGecko over the past year. Pretty harsh. Went from $12 all the way down to $2. Probably don't want to invest into that. Over the past 3 months, again, like it's went from a bottom price of a little under $2 all the way up to $4. So it's been very, very volatile. So we do have to keep that in mind. So let's go back over to Metrics Finance and start to find some other options as well. See Aave to Ethereum over here doing a 63% APR. Doesn't seem too bad to me. I'll favorite that one. I also see Ondo to Ethereum over here. And we're just going to start to favorite these liquidity pools. Now, as we're favoriting these liquidity pools, we want to start to simulate them as well. So after you get a decent amount of ones over here on your favorite page, determine, do I really like these assets? Am I willing to invest into Rio, Aave, Ondo, these assets? Because if I'm not, I don't want to invest in these liquidity pools. And I don't even want to go further on and start to simulate these liquidity pools because it's just going to be a flat out waste of time. So after we've determined these are solid assets, we start to simulate. So we open up that simulation page. It's going to bring us over here. This is essentially where we can determine the return. Because yes, we saw 272% fees APR. That's the average fees APR based on a plus 25%, minus 25% range. Now we need to start to adjust some things to see what the real return that we can get is. Because of course, everybody's range is going to be a little bit different. So we're going to factor that in now by using the simulate page. We're also going to enter our deposit amount, which I recommend if you are using Ethereum network, do at least $10,000. Whereas if you are using Arbitrum, Base, those other networks, it doesn't matter. It's just Ethereum network is the highest gas fees. So I'll put $10,000 right over here. It's typically how much I'm deploying into a pool like Rio because it's a little bit more risky. I'll also go over here to my min and max price. Now we use something called the range framework, which is essentially for finding your ranges, obviously. But the basis of that range framework is we're looking at our time span. We have a 30-day calculation range, which means that ideally we want to be able to be in range for about 14 days. If we only want to be in range for about 7 days and collect a little bit higher of a yield, then we're going to use a 14-day calculation range. But I like using 30 days because it works well with my strategy. We're also looking at the asset ratios. ratios, we're looking at the notable fluctuations, we're looking at the exposure, all that stuff, which I'll dive into in just a second. But for the starter range, we're just going to set our min price and max price to the peak and the low of this pool price chart right over here. Basically, we want to be able to capture the past 30 days. And then we say, hey, this price is trending up. It's pretty clear that this price is trending up. And their top price is closer to our current price. It's very close to our current price to the point where we can almost go out of range. So what do? I bring this max price up until I have some buffer room. And ideally, I want to be able to capture like a 1 to 2 day movement within my price range. Like over here, we went up from 37.55 all the way to 46.63 in the time span of 2 days. So if we were to see that same move, can I capture that in my range from current price? In this case scenario at 6,100 top price, I can. And then from there, I say, okay, I currently have 60% Rio, 41% ETH. Pretty clear that ETH is doing better than Rio right now because the price is going up. So what do? I move this min price up to something like 34.50. I want to grab a little bit less Rio. And actually, that still gives me 57% Rio and roughly 43% ETH. So we're going to bring that up to 36.50. And that gets me to roughly 53% Rio, 47% ETH, which I'm fine with. Historically, altcoins do better than stuff like Ethereum, Bitcoin, Solana, whatnot. So it's fine to have a little bit more at Rio, but I wanted to get close to that 50-50 mark. Now that's showing a 270% APR. We're at the peak of liquidity distribution where there's $21,000 on the current price, and there's also surrounding prices with similar amounts. There's no crazy notable fluctuations in the liquidity distribution. And then I look at volume history. I'm like, what the hell is this? There's $3 million randomly this day, and then all of a sudden it's back to like 100K, 300K, 400K, right? So it just completely drops off. So clearly there was a big buy or sell order right over here that got executed on. Now, with that being said, I don't want to factor that in when calculating my potential APR because it's going to skew our data. We're showing 270% APR. What I want to do is use probably about the past 12 days of volume. That's going to get me back over here to January 14th, and it's going to capture only recent volume that has been consistent. You can see our average is 340,000, and on a daily basis, we are coming out to roughly 340,000. It's not bad whatsoever, and we're still showing a 235% APR, so I am happy with that. So now that I've evaluated this pool, I've determined, hey, this is a decent fit for my portfolio. We save it, and if we want to invest into it, it's pretty simple, actually. We go over to swap.defilama.com. Remember, executing on that swap strategy, we get our Ethereum, which is going to be displayed right over here. Now, pro tip, hit match ticks. That's going to find the closest tick or price point, I like to call it. And now it says we need 1.4002 Ethereum. So we're going to buy up 1.4002 Ethereum, just like that, using the best route. And then we'd ideally connect our wallet and actually execute on this trade. And then we're also going to buy up the required amount of Rio right over here. So we'll type in Rio or paste in the contract address from CoinGecko. And we need this much. And then we execute on the best route. We execute our trade. And something that we have to pay attention to is this slippage right here. We're putting in 54.63. We're getting out 53.20. And the reason why is because there isn't a crazy amount of liquidity here. There's only $900,000 of liquidity. So we really have to be careful of that slippage. We have to say, okay, it's going to cost us 2.6% at least to get into this pool. Probably more like 3% when we factor in gas fees. How long is it going to take us to make 3% on our overall position value? In this instance, we're making about 0.64% per day. It's still 20% per month, but it's going to take us a little under a week to actually make that back. So if we're comfortable with that, that's fine. But also factor in, hey, to get out of this pool is also going to take us a little under a week because we have to execute the trade back into Ethereum or USDC or something along those lines. So that's always a deciding factor for me to determine if a pool is actually even worth it. But shall we determine, hey, this is worth it, right? We already have the Rio, maybe we already have the Ethereum. We're not buying up new assets. We don't have to pay slippage, or even slippage is just low. We would hit create position. This is going to take us over to the decentralized exchanges. Now, sometimes the decentralized exchanges won't support like URL parameters, so we can't pass all that information from Metrics Finance. So you will have to go and manually find it on Uniswap or whatever it may be. But we'll now type in, okay, we want Relio. Now we want to make sure that we choose the right Relio because there was two Rios over here. So we're gonna go right over to CoinGecko, type in the asset name, and then we will be able to grab something called the contract address. It's gonna be displayed right over here. This is the official contract address, which is like basically the official asset address. So if I paste it in, it's like, hey, this is the right one. We will continue, and then we'll select our fee tier. Now over here, we are simulating the 1% fee tier, so that matches up. We'll go continue. We'll go custom range, and then we'll just grab this range right over here and paste it in. Boom, there's one, and then right over here, 61.21. Boom, there's another. And then just like that, we will continue, and then it'll tell us we need to deposit certain amounts of assets, right? So if we just take that 1.4002 Ethereum and we paste it in, it's going to say we need 7701 Rio, which is going to be a very, very similar number to what you get over here on Metrics Finance. The reason why there's the slight discrepancy is because when you actually open up this page versus when you go over here to Uniswap, there's going to be some time where ultimately the prices change because there's so much trading activity happening in this industry. So again, it's going to be give or take. Do keep that in mind. But from there, we can actually deploy our capital into this liquidity pool and start to earn passive income from using these two assets. Now, guys, if you enjoyed today's video, I want you to go ahead and drop a like, subscribe, notifications turned on. Let me know what types of content you want to see down below in the comment section. I'm happy to make some more content around whatever you guys want. That's how I get these video ideas. And stay tuned for my next video. I think you're going to find it pretty valuable. I'm going to be talking about my personal strategy. And should you guys need support, feel free to let us know. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.